Hi everyone, my name is Arielle and welcome back to my channel. I'm currently attempting a thru hike of the Pacific Crest Trail and we are officially getting back on trail after an unintended double zero in Ashland while we dealt with the repercussions of the McKinney fire. So if you missed last week's episode, you can see all of that shenanigans, but we are officially back on trail and there is blue sky above, which we haven't seen much of in the last couple of days. And yeah, I think we're all excited to get back out here. The nice thing is that we were pretty far along in the section of trail that's now closed for the McKinney fire, and we only had to miss about 30 miles. So we're getting back on trail right at the crossing of I-5 and just continuing to head north until we hit the next closure. So let's do some hiking. Remember when I said it was blue skies and sunny? She was joking. Wow. We've been hiking. We've been hiking for like 30 minutes and it's now pouring rain, so we're hiding under a tree for a minute. We love hiking. Raining. Good times. I'm going way in, out into the open. I'm going straight in, all in the moment. I'll go out into the open. I'm tired, but I like it. I'm a long way from home. The further in I go, the closer I will be to out in the open. Out in the open. Out in the open. Out in the open. Wide open land. Wide open land. Come on, y'all. Feeling good, feeling right. Every day, every night. Come on. I got joy in my life, in my life. Oh yes, I do, yeah.
I used to wake up feeling real stressed. Now I wake up feeling real blessed. I'm in the sunshine and living my best life. There for a minute I was feeling real rough, until I saw that what I had was enough. I didn't know that I could love it this.
Good morning. I'm realizing that I haven't given you an update in like more than 24 hours. And I think the main thing is I'm just kind of been in my head the last day or so, just thinking about things and thinking about what the rest of the trail is going to look like and feel like and what it means to me, especially because a lot has changed since we got off trail and got back on in Ashland. Just the whole experience of evacuating from the fire, and then all of the changes to our plans that have to be made because of the fire more further north, the other closure, and just the uncertainty that like we can make plans and everything can change in an instant anyways. So I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I just haven't been able to quite find the right words to articulate it clearly to you yet. So I've been just kind of avoiding speaking, but I think I'd rather just give you guys like an update on the trail itself right now. And I feel pretty confident by later today or tomorrow, I'll be able to have the right words to articulate what I'm feeling and processing, because I think it's been really, it's been a really like kind of transformative couple of days. But from the just trail side of things for now, we left Ashland in the afternoon and just did like 10, like I guess almost 11 miles out of town. And there's definitely a lot more hikers here on the trail, because anyone who was basically south of Ashland all the way down to Shasta got pushed up to Ashland. So a big chunk of the bubble is now all kind of consolidated, leaving from the same spot, except for the like some smaller groups. I guess I don't know how many people did what, but a bunch of people also went up to Timberline, just kind of like skipping Oregon almost completely, and with the plan of coming back later. And then some people are skipping over to the Oregon Coast Trail. So there's lots of different game plans, but I would say just continuing north from Ashland was probably the most popular one. So definitely a lot of people on trail, at least in the campsites, until we started hiking. And yesterday we did a full day of hiking, and I really felt like it thinned out. It didn't feel more busy than usual, but it is cool because we're seeing lots of new faces. Obviously there's still some familiar faces, which is great, but I love meeting new people, and so it's been a cool experience to meet new people along the way. So yesterday we did 25-ish miles of trail miles and ended up camping. And this morning when I woke up, it like kind of smelled like a campfire. So like leaving Ashland, it really wasn't that smoky, and yesterday wasn't smoky at all. Actually, it was beautiful. But today you can feel it, and we've been hiking for about an hour, and even though it's not super smoky here, I think I took a video, it might be hard to tell, of like how smoky it was in the distance. I am feeling it a bit like in my nasal passage and kind of like in my head a little bit. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that as the air starts moving throughout the day, the smoke will kind of clear and we'll feel better. But the plan for today is to hike to like the road crossing towards Fish Lake, and then hitch into Fish Lake just for some lunch, and then get back on trail and like hitch back to the trail and hike a little bit more. So we'll still have like a full day of hiking, but a nice little lunch break in the middle. So yeah, that's the plan for now. And like I said, I'll update you on all the rest later once I've been able to like consolidate my words and thoughts on all of it. Monday. Today was really awesome, one of my favorite days on trail actually, and we got to camp nice and early by design, by choice. And so I spent the last hour or so journaling, trying to really process the thoughts that I've been mulling over the last couple of days since we got back on trail. I just feel like I've had a really big shift in mindset because all of the plans went out the window, and I kind of feel like I've had to be more open, and it's made me start to think about what I wanted from this trail and what would be really like, what would mean growth for me as a person as I'm out here. And I think, like, to start at the beginning, basically the beginning of the trail, I wanted to set out with the goal of continuous footsteps from Mexico to Canada, but I knew that there was like already one closure that was still on there and the possibility that things would change. So I wouldn't have called myself like a purist, like I wasn't planning on doing any long roadwalks or anything like that to get around any closures, but I was pretty committed to the cause. You know, I did my best to stay on track and not take, you know, little opportunities to skip miles here and skip miles there and just kind of like keep moving forward. And it wasn't until about Northern California that I started to realize that I would say more people than not were skipping big or small sections of the trail for lots of different reasons. You know, some of it was just to keep up with their trail family or an injury or things like that, or just because they could get a hitch around to another road and make their day that much lighter and more enjoyable. And by Northern California, I've actually started to realize that I would say more people than not had made some sort of skip in some way. And I started to like find myself a bit envious, not necessarily of the skipping of miles, but the fact that they felt like this freedom to make that. Because if I'm being totally honest with myself, I felt pressure to do the trail a particular way, like to follow these unwritten rules. And it was definitely internal pressure. Like, I would say I'm pretty hard on myself. I can be really hard on myself. But I would say I also felt some external pressure. Like, I didn't want to let you guys down in any way, or I felt like maybe there'd be people in the outside world or online space that would feel like my hike was invalid for some reason if I made any little detours off the like set path ahead. And when we got back on in Ashland, it was, you know, the first time that I had to, you know, like skip any of the trail miles completely. So we had to skip about 30 miles because of the closure, which is so much less than some people. Like, people behind us will have to skip large portions of the trail. Like, people are having to skip from Shasta all the way to Ashland because of that closure. So it's really like, I also was trying to lean into gratitude for the fact that I did get to hike so much of it. But I just kind of started to feel this sense of like confusion and this mix of emotions. And we got to this trail junction yesterday, and this junction allowed you to do a 1.5 mile dirt road walk, and you would get to a point on the trail that would have been like 4.2 trail miles. So you miss almost like 3 miles of hiking to take this little shortcut. And one of the comments on there said something to the degree of like, the PCT, where the rules are made up and the points don't matter. And I know that sounds like so silly, but for some reason that just like actually landed with me in realizing that I have found myself really glued to these arbitrary rules that don't matter, that don't mean anything, and that I get to be in charge of what this hike means for me. And as somebody who tends to cling tightly to control or be really hard on myself, I think some magic for me is actually in the softening. So I decided to explore that. Like, today was a big exploration of what would it be like if I softened a little bit and didn't have so much pressure on myself. And we got to a road crossing today where part of our group was planning on hitching to Lake of the Woods and then getting back on at the upper road, so they'd miss like 10 miles of trail, and the rest of us were gonna hike those 10 miles and then meet them at Lake of the Woods, and we'd all get on together. But we wouldn't have missed those 10 miles. And we got to the road in the morning, and I just like realized that I wanted to go. I wanted to see, like, have like a lighter day and just like be able to have a little bit more, like, not put so much pressure. I was feeling really tired and a little bit burnt out. And so I said to the rest of the group, like, if that hitch is big enough for us, I'm down to go. And of course, it was a pickup truck. So we all piled in and we got to Lake of the Woods. We had breakfast. There was another group of hikers there that was like, hey, we're thinking of renting a pontoon boat. Do you guys want to join us? And it would be like $20 per person for 4 hours on a pontoon boat. So of course we said yes. And we just had this incredibly magical, wonderful day out on the lake, and we got a hitch back to that upper road, so missing that 10 miles, and literally we camped like half a mile from where the road crosses. So it was a very, very light day of hiking, but it was really just what my heart and soul needed. And I don't really, like, I still plan on hiking as, you know, as much of the trail as, I don't want to maybe say as possible, because obviously I could have hiked that 10 miles, but just like committing it, you know, a good, like most of the trail I plan on hiking. I don't see myself taking like any big major skips except for like the closures and things like that. But I really do like want to lean into softening. And I think it's important to say that, or like for, you know, those of you watching who are considering the trail, to know that more people than not, I would say like very few people are actually taking continuous footsteps all the way. And especially now that there's like wildfires every year, it's getting less and less possible anyways. And I'm realizing that there's just really some magic in the letting go, and that an experience like today would not have happened if I was like glued to the plan and continuing it to do it the right way. And at the end of this journey, I mean, obviously anything can change. I learned that last week. But, you know, with all the closures ahead and with the possibility of, you know, taking a ride here and a ride there or whatever it might be, I'll still have walked roughly 2,500 miles in 5 months. And I think that that is absolutely crazy. And I'm just giving myself permission to have fun and enjoy the ride and to soften. And I know that, you know, there may be some like purists and keyboard warriors out there that have something to say about it, but I think that it's going to make the rest of the trail just that much more fun. And I'm really feeling that that's going to be part of the magic of this trail for me, is learning to soften and let go and enjoy. So yeah, I don't know. I hope that wasn't too rambly. I feel like there are pieces of my thoughts that didn't make it into this, but at the end of the day, that's the best you can do. So I'm excited to go to sleep early and wake up tomorrow, because we have 2 full days of hiking to get ourselves to Crater Lake, and we'll get up early to get that going. So anyways, that's what's been on my mind the last couple of days, and I'll see you in the morning. setting up all of my stuff from inside my tent tonight, which I don't know if I've ever done. Finch, how are the mosquitoes out there?
About to text the desert, I miss her.
You gonna send her a text and say like, you up?
Oh, I am about to send her a you up text.
Oh, the desert.
I'm about to send that Garmin message. I'm that desperate.
The desert. Man, it got dark so early. I feel like the days are, like I can feel them starting to get shorter, and you really feel them on days like today when you're trying to get quite a lot of miles done. So we woke up to start hiking at 6, and I wouldn't say it was fully dark, but it was like way darker than it has been at least the last month, and hiked a lot through the forest, but then the trail really like opened up and we ended up on this beautiful ridge, which was really nice. I mean, personally, I really like the big expansive views, feeling like I'm kind of on top of the world, and I can find that like personally, I find that being in the forest for like 20 plus miles can feel really monotonous and just not as exciting, and it feels like the day kind of goes slower, even though the trail, you know, is like definitely flatter and like easier to walk in a lot of those areas. I almost would rather have a more challenging trail with beautiful views. I don't know. I guess it just depends on when you ask me the question, but I really enjoyed today. It was a nice change of pace to have that big spacious view, and we ended up doing 28 miles to camp today, rolling in pretty late, but we ate dinner at the last water source because there's actually like potentially a long water carry. There's no marked water sources for like 16 miles from that last water source. 16, 14, something like that though. Still pretty big, but there's some notes, like some comments saying that there may be another one in between. So we are going to bring a lot of water, but like maybe not, you know, maybe be able to fill up at least some at that other source, which would be really nice to break it up. But yeah, so we ate dinner at the water source and made our way to camp. So really all we had to do was pile in. And the last like hour of hiking, it's such a great temperature. But like I was saying when I got here, definitely the mosquito witching hour. And there's definitely more mosquitoes here than what we've been dealing with. So I think we're all going to bed a little bit itchy tonight. Luckily, because of our day today, we set ourselves up to have a slightly shorter day tomorrow into Mazama Village. So we should get there. I actually don't know what time, but like we have about 19 miles there, which is nice. I'm so excited to check out Crater Lake. So anyways, it's getting late. I should probably go to bed, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
First day on Earth, I fell into your eyes. Look at how our galaxies collide. Every color of the spectrum, every star up in the sky. The planets aligned for you, and I've known you since the dawn of time. With twin flames burning bright, and I can't believe that I finally found you here. 'Cause nothing
Mazama Village last night, like yesterday, early afternoon, ate some food and just camped over there in the PCT hiker area. And this morning we went to the buffet over here at the, I think it's called the Rim Village area or like cafe or whatever, but they had like a $21 buffet that's all you can eat, and it was so amazing. And now we're heading out on the Blue Blaze to hike around the rim, and it is so beautiful already. So very excited to be here. And just north of here is where the next fire closure is, so we're gonna like take our time and really soak up today because this is pretty magical.
I'll never say goodbye, together for eternity. Oh, I've loved you since the dawn of time, with twin flames burning bright, and I can't believe that I finally found you. There's nothing is better than you and I together. I just wanna stay until the morning sun, lay here forever, you and I together.
Okay, so if you watched last week's episode, you might remember Pinch and his pancake challenge, which was very short-lived because we ended up having to like self-evacuate from that fire the same night. So he's got a new challenge today.
The pizza box challenge.
What's the pizza box challenge?
So, for some reason, I only ate half my pizza last night. So I figured I don't want to waste it. So I brought it along with me. And guess what? I also have 2 ciders with me. So both of these have to be finished by the time we finish this this trail, which seems like it's gonna take a lot longer than we think. So I have a lot of time on my hands.
So we have like, I think he'll end up carrying the pizza for roughly like 8.5 miles. Oh my God. Pinch and his challenges.
Never stops.
Never stops, I love it. Nothing is better than you and I together. I just wanna stay until the morning sun, lay here forever, you and I together. I just wanna stay until the morning sun. 'Cause nothing is better than you and I together. I just wanna stay until the morning sun, lay here forever, you and I together. I just wanna stay until the morning sun. I am so grateful that we got the opportunity to experience the magic of Crater Lake because it was just so beautiful and so blue. I just don't even know if the videos do it justice because it's just like almost like such a crazy color that it's hard to comprehend. But I feel really grateful that that was able to be a part of our journey, especially because just above there, the trail is closed. There's a 60-mile closure, which we knew about when we left Ashland. It wasn't a closure that was there when we started the trail, but the same day that the McKinney fire closed a bunch of the trail in Northern California and like really southern Oregon, this closure also happened. So we've been planning for this moment and knowing that we would have to, you know, skip around the closure. Unfortunately, in that time that we hiked from Ashland to Crater Lake, there was another fire right above the top of where that closure was. And as of right now, the trail is technically open, but the PCTA website basically says that there's heavy smoke or periodically heavy smoke in the area, and that section of section of trail may end up closing in the next few days. And I think I don't know, it's really hard to make decisions out here because so many people are doing so many different things. But for us and what we experienced, self-evacuating from the McKinney fire in the middle of the night with ash raining and heavy smoke, I think we're all just in agreement that we don't feel comfortable putting ourselves knowingly in a situation where we're near a growing fire and where there is heavy smoke, because even some of the days in this last stretch where there was lighter smoke, we were getting headaches. It's one of the reasons why we actually all decided to go to Lake of the Woods and have a shorter hiking day, because that whole morning we all just felt like shit, honestly. So we want to get on trail just above that, but we also don't want to miss out on experiencing Oregon and the magic that Oregon has to offer. So we've decided to do a little side adventure, and I think the timing is actually perfect. The thing that I realized, I was watching one of the videos, so my husband edits these and he sends them to me to review before we post them. That's one of the reasons why there's a little bit of a delay, because we have to like go through that whole process of me sending him things, him editing, me reviewing, whatever. But I was realizing like how much enthusiasm I had for hiking and how like strong I was feeling and energized I was feeling like even just a month ago. And this week I just felt exhausted. And I think that even though we took 2 days to rest in Ashland, it wasn't quite enough to make up for the fact that we skipped a whole night of sleep and went through like, I don't know, it didn't feel necessarily traumatic to me in the moment, but if I think back on like the fact that we like were basically hiking through the night with ash raining down and like being able to see a fire in the distance and, you know, being in an evacuation, I don't know, it just, I think it was a little heavier on me and my energy stores than I gave myself credit for or let myself realize. So we are going to take the days that we would have spent hiking, these 3 days that we would have spent hiking the closure and that smoky section, and enjoy some other magic here in Oregon and take a little side adventure. And I'm really looking forward to getting some deeper rest so that way when I get back on trail, I can tap back into that enthusiasm that I had, because I'm really excited for what the rest of Oregon has to offer, and I'm really excited for Washington, but I think that I'm needing a little bit of rest. So I'm gonna leave the details of that little side adventure for next week's episode. But I just wanna thank you guys for coming along for the journey. I know that there was maybe a little bit more talking in this vlog than normal, just because I've been processing so much. So thank you for sticking around till the end if you're still here. And as always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It does really support my channel. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, because there is a lot more PCT adventure here to come. I'll see you guys next week.